Hello, PK families. Today's message is all about how to read your schedule in Skyward. We know that schedules look different from last year, so we wanted to give you some support for understanding what the designations mean and how to know which classes your student is enrolled in for fall and spring semesters. What you see here is a 6th grade student schedule. This view is from our Family Access portal in Skyward. You will have access to your student's schedule beginning on July 26th. As a reminder, you will need to reset your password for the 23-24 school year. Emily sent you an email earlier in the week with these reminders. On this schedule, the student has all their core classes and electives visible. 6th and 7th grade students will keep the same schedule throughout the year in both fall and spring semesters. Although the schedule is divided into 8 43-minute periods, students will experience some classes in 43-minute periods and other classes as 86-minute periods. This minimizes the number of transitions students make each day and allows for longer blocks of time for writing and reading assignments within the school day. Let's start by looking at the top of the schedule. We're looking at the top left, and we see that this student's schedule has first and second period together, and that in both first and second period we see the same courses listed. There's a designation for which course is on A day and which course is on B day. We also note a C day in the schedule, which for 6th and 7th grade students will always mean Wednesday. We can talk more about that later. This student has their ELA and social studies courses in the first and second periods, and those courses are 86 minutes each day and alternate between A and B days. In the third period, this student has mathematics. Note that third period is 43 minutes, and they have mathematics on A, B, and C days, meaning they will go to math in that time period every single day of the week. In fourth period, this student has PE. Again, note that you see days A, B, and C. This student will go to PE in that time block every single day of the week. In periods 5 and 6, we see something on this student's schedule very similar to what we see in periods 1 and 2. We see a designation for 2 courses in the 5th period and 2 courses in the 6th period, and we see designations for different days. This student will be going to science with Miss Montgomery on days A and C, which is going to always be alternating the A and B, with the C being on Wednesday, and they are going to computer science discoveries on the B day. So again, very similar to first and second period for this student. They're going to experience this as an 86-minute chunk of time, and on their A day they'll be in science, and on their B day they're going to be in computer science throughout the year, both fall and spring semesters. Then in the 7th period, which again will return to that 43-minute block of time, this student has art with Miss Johnson days A, B, and C. So all days they will go to art in the 7th period block, ending their day in 8th period from 1:52 to 2:35 with Mr. Bell in their mathematics workshop. You'll notice I didn't mention lunch, but if we look back at the schedule, we can see a time period that's not designated between 11:45 and 12:23, between the 5th and 6th period blocks. That is when our 6th and 7th grade students will have lunch. So even though you don't see lunch designated on the schedule, it sits right there in that unallocated time block between 11:45 and 12:23 between the 5th and 6th period blocks. Another note for 6th and 7th grade students, their math happens for all 6th and 7th grade students once in the morning and once in the afternoon. So rather than having a long extended block of math time for 86 minutes, they have 2 math times each school day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon for 43 minutes each. I'm going to give you another view of the schedule This again is what you're going to see in our Family Access portal, and when we go to the next slide, you'll be able to see a simplified version of the 6th and 7th grade schedule. On this view of a 6th and 7th grade student schedule, we see a simplification of what you're going to see in your Family Access portal. If you're just coming in to this slideshow and you haven't watched the previous 2 slides, so the narration on slides 1 and 2, please go back and listen to slides 1 and 2 before coming to slide 3, and this will make a lot more sense. But what we have here is we've designated Monday as our A day, Tuesday as our B day, Wednesday as our C day, we mentioned that in the previous slide, Thursday again back to A day, and Friday as B day, and then this is where you can see in another sort of visual how those A and B days alternate for students. The first and second period for this student's schedule, again, they're experiencing language arts in that longer 86-minute period because we have 2 43-minute periods put together. Then we go to B day and we have U.S. history, again in that longer 86 minutes. We go to our Wednesday, and Wednesday, as it's been in previous years, is going to be our early release. In secondary, beginning in 6th grade all the way through 12th grade, our students are released at 1:35. So please make note that on Wednesday, your student needs to be picked up at 1:35. They will still be seeing all of their classes, and they're going to have their advisory time on Wednesday. So that's very similar to what's happened in previous years. Again, if you haven't looked at slide 2 and listened to that narration, it would be important that you do so because that's what you're going to see in your Skyward Family Access portal. This is the simplified view. We think this is a great view for students and families to look at if they need some clarification about what each of their school days is going to look like in the coming 23-24 school year. On this slide, we're looking at a second schedule. This is also a 6th grade student. So if you're watching this slideshow in order, you've now looked at on slide 2 a 6th grade student schedule. On slide 3 we talked about the simplified view. On slide 4 we're now looking at a second 6th grade student schedule, and this is a little bit different. Our 6th grade students do not all have the exact same schedule. So although you'll see something very similar when you open up your Family Access portal in Skyward, your student's schedule is likely going to have some variations from what you're seeing in slide 2 or slide 4. So here's another example. This student actually starts their day in period 1, which again is that approximately 43 minutes in period 1 that they're going to be with Andrea Zazo in PE. So this student will start in PE, and note that it says A, B, and C days. They're going to be in PE every single day. Then in period 2, we see that this student has mathematics. So this is their morning math block. You'll see an afternoon math block as well. We'll get to that in just a minute. So period 2 is that math period. Then we go to periods 3 and 4. So remember, we have language arts and U.S. history on alternating A-B days. You saw that in the first schedule we looked at. This student has language arts and U.S. history in periods 3 and 4, and they're going to have language arts on A day, and they're going to have U.S. history on B day. Again, alternating back and forth, and we'll see that in the simplified view. We go to 5th period, and this 6th grade student has band. So they're playing in our PK band, and note that they have band A, B, and C. So every single day during the 5th period time block, they're going to be going to see Mr. Marsky over in the PAC for band. Then for 6th period, they go to Mr. Bell for mathematics. Similar to how I noted it on the previous schedule, we see this unallocated time block here from 11:45 to 12:23. That's when our 6th and 7th grade students will be having lunch. So it's not noted here, but their lunch sits right here in between 5th and 6th period. And in this case, the student will be in band, they'll go to lunch, then they go to math. They leave math and they're going to end their day in periods 7 and 8, alternating A and B days. So on A day, they're going to be with Miss Montgomery in science, and on B day, they're going to be with Mr. Boada for computer science discoveries, alternating A and B days across the year, both fall and spring semesters. Once again, we see the simplified view of the schedule. And of note, you will not see this view of a schedule in Skyward. This slideshow and tutorial is the only place that you're going to see this simplified view. So if this is something that you want to look at with your student, or even take your student's schedule from the Family Access portal and draw yourself a little simplified view like this and put their classes in it for them, this is something that you're, of course, welcome to do as a family. We think that it helps to see the A day, the B day on Monday, Tuesday, C day is on Wednesday, and then alternating back to A day and B day on Thursday and Friday. And you'll note again that for the student that we just looked at, they have PE every single day across their schedule. Then they go to math again every single day. Then moving into their language arts and history block where they alternate A, B days. In 5th period, we're back to band every single day. This view does show lunch. Then we go to math workshop and back to ending the day, alternating between science and computer science. Again, on Wednesday, our students are going to be released at 1:35, and they will see their classes plus their advisory block on Wednesday. So this is just an alternate view, including band for a 6th grade student, but it does represent both 6th and 7th grade schedules. 6th and 7th grade schedules are set up the same in terms of how they're spending their time and how blocks are laid out. So if you have a 6th grade or a 7th grade student, this is the slideshow to look at, to listen to, and to think about how their schedule is set up for the 23-24 school year.